Donald Trump, never one to shy away from controversy, has once again thrown a grenade into the heart of European politics. His recent statement, questioning NATO's eastward expansion and its role in the current Eastern European conflict, has sent shockwaves through the continent. Trump's assertion, delivered with his trademark bluntness, directly challenges the established narrative of unprovoked Russian aggression. This has left many European leaders scrambling to defend the status quo, while others see it as an opportunity to redefine their own positions. The timing of Trump's intervention is crucial. Europe is grappling with multiple crises: an energy crisis fueled by the Nord Stream pipeline sabotage, widespread protests in France, and a growing sense of economic anxiety. Trump's words have poured fuel on these already raging fires, deepening divisions and raising questions about the future of European unity. The immediate impact of Trump's statement has been a mixture of confusion and anger. Some see it as a reckless provocation, playing into the hands of Russia. Others view it as a long overdue challenge to what they see as NATO's expansionist agenda. One thing is certain: Trump's words have ignited a debate that will have profound consequences for the future of Europe. At the heart of the current crisis lies the question of NATO expansion. Since the fall of the Soviet Union, NATO has expanded eastward, incorporating former Soviet republics and extending its reach right up to Russia's borders. This expansion, while welcomed by many in the West as a sign of strength and solidarity, has been viewed with deep suspicion by Moscow. Trump, in his characteristically direct style, has now publicly questioned the wisdom of this expansion. He argues that it has unnecessarily provoked Russia, contributing to the current instability in Eastern Europe. This argument, while controversial, resonates with some who believe that NATO's actions have been counterproductive, creating more insecurity than it has prevented. Others, however, vehemently disagree. They argue that NATO expansion has been a vital deterrent against Russian aggression, providing security and stability to countries that were once under Moscow's sway. They point to Russia's actions in Georgia and Ukraine as evidence that Moscow is intent on reasserting its dominance in its near abroad, and that a strong NATO is essential to counter this threat. Trump's intervention has exposed deep divisions within Europe itself. Leaders who once presented a united front in the face of Russian aggression are now openly disagreeing about the way forward. This disunity is most evident in the contrasting responses of Germany's Olaf Scholz, France's Emmanuel Macron, and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Scholz, facing mounting pressure at home due to the energy crisis, has adopted a more cautious approach. He has been criticized by some for his perceived hesitancy in providing military support to Ukraine, and his dependence on Russian energy has left him vulnerable to accusations of weakness. Macron, on the other hand, has positioned himself as a strong advocate for European sovereignty and a tough stance against Russia. However, he is also facing domestic challenges, with widespread protests against his economic policies highlighting the social and economic tensions within France. Von der Leyen has maintained a firm line, emphasizing the need for European unity and continued support for Ukraine. However, her position has been weakened by revelations of U.S. funding for European media outlets, which have fueled accusations of bias and undermined trust in the official narrative. Germany, Europe's economic powerhouse, finds itself in a particularly precarious position. The sabotage of the Nord Stream pipeline, which once supplied Germany with cheap Russian gas, has plunged the country into an energy crisis. Forced to buy more expensive gas from the United States, German businesses and households are facing soaring energy bills and the prospect of rationing. This situation has fueled a sense of anxiety and anger within Germany, undermining public support for the government's policies. Scholz's attempts to balance economic pragmatism with geopolitical considerations have left him open to criticism from all sides. The energy crisis has also exposed Germany's dependence on Russia and the difficulty of quickly finding alternative sources of energy. This has led to calls for a rethink of Germany's energy policy, with a greater emphasis on renewable energy and energy independence. However, such a transition will take time and investment, leaving Germany vulnerable in the short term. Across the Rhine, France is also grappling with its own set of challenges. Widespread protests, sparked by rising living costs and economic inequality, have shaken Macron's presidency. The Gilets jaunes movement, which first emerged in 2018, has reignited, fueled by anger at the government's perceived indifference to the struggles of ordinary people. Macron's efforts to position himself as a strong leader on the international stage have been undermined by the unrest at home. The protests highlight the deep social and economic divisions within French society, and the government's ability to maintain order and stability is increasingly being questioned. The French protests, coupled with the energy crisis in Germany, paint a picture of a continent in turmoil. Economic anxiety, social unrest, and political instability are all on the rise, creating a fertile ground for populism and extremism. Trump's intervention has only served to exacerbate these tensions, deepening divisions and raising the stakes for European leaders. Trump's revelations about U.S. funding of European media outlets have further inflamed the situation, triggering a crisis of confidence in the press. The revelations, which came as part of a broader attack on what Trump calls the fake news media, have been seized upon by those who are already distrustful of the mainstream media. This loss of trust in traditional sources of information has serious implications for European democracies. As citizens increasingly turn to social media and other online platforms for news, they are bombarded with a cacophony of voices, many of them peddling misinformation and propaganda. This erosion of trust in established institutions, including the media, is a worrying trend. It creates an environment where it is difficult to have rational debate and informed decision-making. In such an environment, populist leaders who thrive on division and distrust are likely to flourish.